crisis has put many societies under great stress. If you look at the West, often COVID-19 hurts the poor and the minorities disproportionately, and it's deepened fault lines in these societies. And we've been very mindful of this. So right from the beginning of the crisis, we have systematically paid attention to the more vulnerable groups to look after them. So we have the care and support package for households. We have the workfare special payouts for low-income workers. We are also, even during the circuit breaker period, keeping disadvantaged students from disadvantaged homes in school and having the schools open for them so that they will not miss out on learning opportunities because they can't do it at home. But even long before the crisis, we have already strived to ensure equal opportunities in every generation with affordable housing, education, good health care. With strengthened social safety nets, we have had the workfare, we've had the progressive payments, progressive wage system for the low income. We've got the Pioneer Generation Package, the Merdeka Generation Package. We've got the silver support for older workers who are not so well off and don't have so much CPF. So after COVID-19, and even without that, but faster now, we will have to do more. For example, with healthcare, we definitely have to build up to provide more services, which means more resources, and we are committing these resources. And all these programs have to be paid for. And we are quite upfront with the people that we will make the programs work, we will deliver the results for you, but it does mean that we have to pay for them, and the GST at some stage has to go up sometime in this term of government, or rather in the next term of government, after we have overcome the crisis. But we've also given assurance to the public that low and middle income families will be amply looked after, and we have a $6 billion package of offsets when we implement the GST. In other countries where they have not managed COVID well, there are many political implications. You may have a change of government, you may even have loss of confidence in the whole political system. But our experience with crisis has been that if we manage it well, we emerge strengthened. The Pioneer Generation with independence, the Merdeka Generation taking us from third world to first. So they went through the crisis, were overwhelming, but they were not overwhelmed. They emerged toughened. And this time, for this generation, this is the crisis of our generation, and we must emerge toughened, stronger, and tightly bonded with the government. And that will see us through, Singapore through, for another generation and more.
Well, I think what is really coming to fore with COVID-19 is certain blind spots in government thinking. And one of our key agenda items is to work towards a new brand of politics where information is the key currency, which allows Singaporeans to participate and to get involved in policy making, and also to consider how we can envisage a better Singapore going forward. I think that's very important. The government is still, the PAP will still form government, but that's why it's so important to bring more opposition voices into Parliament so that we can frame the conversation with the people at the centre of the government's agenda.
I would see the political changes is like an awakening now. An awakening because suddenly Singaporeans are all thrust into this stay-at-home environment that give them more time to think and to assess issues and to look at what is actually happening. So I think they will want, I believe, to have a different way of looking at things, and even in the political arena. And I would like to believe that they will now take a closer look at whether this one-party system that we have here will be able to look at this global situation that we create. And I think it is better that we all work as a family, come together. Sometimes political differences we may have, but at the end of the day, I have to think of the people first. And if the people, I find that needs help, whatever, and even if the government has come up with something that's very good for them, there's no reason why we will not support it also. So actually look at it as something, it is something will affect everybody. No longer you have the monopoly of able to manage this properly. It is a joint effort. It's for the people. So I would like to work along those lines.
You know, the one thing that we've said all along is that the government, the PAP, must not put itself before the people. I remind Singaporeans that even as early as March, before the situation got really bad, the PAP already started thinking of having this election. And from that, the ministers started going out campaigning. I remember seeing Ms. Josephine Teo out, trying to have this big event with women candidates. Mr. Teo Chee Hian was, I beg your pardon, was Mr. Ng Eng Hen, Mr. Shanmugam, Mr. Goh Chok Tong. They were all out on walkabouts. But, and they took the eye off the ball. In a situation like this, in a crisis that was unprecedented, in their words, you could not afford to have ministers take their eye off the ball and just start pivoting towards an election. Now, that has to change. All this came about because somehow the PAP always sees itself as above the law, above the people, and that just doesn't quite inspire the confidence that the government is for the people and puts the people first. The other problem that we've seen is that this pandemic has exposed, laid bare the problems of our society as far as the income divide is concerned, right? During the lockdown where students had to do home-based learning, it was reported that 3,000 students had to borrow, and some of these electronic devices had to be loaned out to them. Why in a day and age where we are the poster country for crazy rich Asians, where we have all by in last count, one of the richest countries in the world in terms of number of billionaires and millionaires per capita in this country, that we still have students who cannot afford these computer devices. And then you have the elderly too, where many of them are continue to have to work and work for wages that are just below poverty levels. So it's a shame that we have to continue to have something like this going on. And as I said, post-COVID Singapore, we have to address these social issues as well.